I want you to think about something for a second. Have you ever tried to change your life and felt like you were swimming upstream? Like no matter what you did, the affirmations, the vision boards, the journaling, something underneath kept pulling you back. Well, here's what nobody tells you clearly. Your unconscious mind is not your enemy. It's not trying to ruin your dreams. It's simply doing what it was designed to do, which is to keep you safe. But here's the thing that trips people up. Your unconscious mind doesn't measure safety the way that you do. You see, you're looking at happiness, success, moving towards your goals. Your unconscious mind, it measures safety by what's familiar, what's known, what it's seen before and survived. So even if your familiar means burnout or self-doubt or playing small, if you've managed to survive that before, your unconscious mind assumes that's what you need to keep doing. It's not logical, it's biological. And that's exactly what we're addressing today. So, my name's Palmer-Peacock, and welcome to the channel. Here's what actually happens. Your unconscious mind has one job: to keep you safe. That's it. That's its whole assignment: survival. So if you think in the animal kingdom, survival is necessary for a species to survive. So survival is the number one thing that animals do to stay alive. They'll do everything they possibly can to stay alive until they procreate so that their species continues, right? As human beings, we have that nature survival in us. We also have emotional survival. So we have two elements, and both are required to live a full life. Now, I had a client, really talented, really ambitious, and the thing she needed most in her business, the next step for her, was visibility. She needed to show up online. But every time she got close, like stepping into her power and being seen, she'd get sick. Now, not on purpose, not even consciously. Her body would just shut down. She'd get headaches, migraines. She'd be exhausted. Something would always come up and she'd have to pull back, or she'd have to cancel, or she'd have to do something that stopped her from doing that thing where she'd be seen or she'd be visible. And one of the things that I said to her was, this is just a self-sabotage pattern that you're running. Now, she was beyond frustrated, as you can imagine, because the next time she was ready to launch or show up online, something happened again. But as I explained to her, you're not doing this consciously. Your unconscious is running the show. You see, when we're children, an event happens that we add meaning to. Now, remember, we're seeing that event through our child's eyes, or whatever age it is that we're looking through. It's not the truth, but it's the truth for us at that age. And what happens is we lock that truth into our unconscious memory. Now, that becomes the program that we live by. So for my client, being visible and seen, she remembers a time when she was just 5 years old. She'd just won an award at school and was so excited and couldn't wait. She was so proud. She couldn't wait to get home to tell her mother. And when she did, her mother looked at her with a frown on her face and said, "Don't brag. Don't show off to others or you'll have no friends." Now, in that moment, she coded that experience as showing up in front of others was bad. Being visible equals no friends. Being seen, dangerous. For her, visible meant being abandoned and alone. Now, we don't know what was going on. We don't even know what the rest of the conversation was. Her mother might have been just home from work, unpacking groceries in the middle of something and wasn't paying attention. Like, we don't know what the truth was, right? But all we know is that that's how it got coded for her. One of our basic survival instincts is belonging. As babies, we need to be looked after. Our basic survival depends on it. So having parents, a community, friends, someone around us is a basic survival instinct that our unconscious has wired as necessary to survive. So even though her conscious mind as an adult wanted to be visible, wanted to be seen so she could grow her business, her unconscious mind was, nope, we're not doing that. That's dangerous. It was running the childhood patterns that she had locked in as truth. And by the way, when I'm telling you all of this, These aren't character flaws we have. It's not spiritual laziness. It's actually biology. It's our unconscious survival system protecting us the only way it knows how. Now, I just want to touch on this because here's what a lot of people do in the self-help world is they create affirmations to change their unconscious programming. They've been told that if they repeat a phrase or see a phrase or statement enough times, eventually it will stick and it'll become their truth. But how many times have you tried that method and nothing changes? I can tell you now, you're not alone. And I'd like to offer you a slightly different approach or method because I know from personal experience, you can say, I am successful. I attract abundance in my life. I am worthy until you're blue in the face. But if your unconscious mind hasn't updated its programming on, for example, in this one, how to process visibility or whatever it is for you holding you back. Maybe it's, I know, big money isn't for people like me, or you don't offer enough value for clients to come and see you, or you're not good enough to maintain a loving, intimate relationship. Whatever it is for you, then whatever your affirmations are, quite frankly, they're just white noise and a waste of your time and energy. In a lot of cases, in fact, saying or listening to affirmations actually reinforce the fact you don't have what you want. The truth is, your unconscious is playing on repeat what you recorded when you were just a child. That's what it's listening to, not what you're hearing on a meditation app, right? Now, I do need to say this though. There is a purpose for affirmations, but this isn't it. So affirmations versus unconscious programming is basically a mismatch indicating you are 100% out of alignment. And it's very hard to create anything when you're not in alignment. Your conscious mind wants one thing, but your unconscious mind is like, actually, we're doing this old thing. And it wins because it's been running that racetrack for a very long time. It's seasoned and has a well-worn track that it knows how to run on repeat every time. In fact, Joe Dispenza talks about this as this is when the body knows better than the mind. The body takes over because it's done it so many times. It goes, oh, I know what that track is. Leave it to me. I've got this. Okay. The trick, and this is what actually works, is you don't fight your unconscious mind. You don't white knuckle your way through it. You love it by updating it or recoding it. You show it that safety, survival can exist with a new pattern. So recoding or repatterning or reprogramming, whatever you want to call it, is basically teaching your unconscious mind how it is. It's letting it know that the thing that you want isn't dangerous. It's telling your system, yeah, visibility is safe. Making money is safe. Taking time out to put yourself first is safe. Being loved by others is safe. Saying no to things that don't align with where you're going is safe. You get the gist, right? But you can't just tell it. That's not how it works. You have to show it. And you do that by shifting the emotional meaning attached to your old memory or belief. So here's the thing. You can't change what happened in your past. That's real. You can't go back and unhear your parents' voice, for example. You can't unexperience the thing that your unconscious coded as danger. Like my client, visibility equals abandonment and being alone equals danger, right? But you can change the energy it still holds in your body. You can go back to that memory and that time, and you can bring something different when you do that. You bring your current consciousness, your adult awareness, your compassion and empathy for yourself as a kid who was just trying to survive. And when you do that, when you actually revisit that thing with new information, you rewrite the code. You tell your system, we're safe now. We can do this differently. We have different tools now. Now, I do also want to add in here, I want to make an exception. I'm referring to most everyday problems. I'm not referring to big historical traumas. We still recode, that part is the same, but if you've experienced like major trauma, there are probably a few other steps that we need to do beforehand to ensure you are safe before you do the recode. Okay, for most experience, for most circumstances, though, recoding the meaning is all that's required. It's kind of like, not sure if you've ever heard the ice to vapor analogy. All right, let's say your challenge or block or resistance is a block of ice. So we raise the frequency of the ice by adding heat. Now, the ice with the heat is transformed into water. Water can then be transformed into steam, which now can be turned into vapor. Now, as vapor, we are now in the land of pure potentiality. As vapor, we have the freedom to choose where we want to land. So, for example, we come up this way to vapor, we cool the vapor, we turn it back down to steam and water, and eventually back down to ice. But this time, the ice lands in a different place. And because it's in a different place, the meaning associated to the event is different, which means every encounter of a similar experience in your future will also be different. And here's the part that locks it in. You reinforce that new state, especially right before sleep when your brain is most receptive to new information. It's that time just before deep sleep. That's when the reprogramming sticks because you're not intellectually understanding it. Your unconscious mind and nervous system is updating itself. You're no longer running the old program, you're creating from a new truth. So, practically, it doesn't have to be complicated. We can actually do a really simple example right now. So, I want you right now just to pick one area where you keep hitting a wall. Maybe it's money. Maybe it's visibility and showing up online. Maybe it's putting yourself first or taking a break. I want you to ask yourself, what did I learn about this as a child? What was the message that's been true for me? And what do I believe as a result of that? And as you unpack that, ask yourself, well, how does this relate to me now? How does this relate to others in my life? And how does this relate to the world at large? So, what we're doing here when we ask those questions is we're covering all the layers of meaning from self to others to your worldview. And then, and this is key, don't judge yourself for having that program running. Your unconscious mind was protecting you, it was doing its job. And for that, we actually should give gratitude and thanks. And then consciously, intentionally, offer yourself what you didn't get back then, which is something like safety, permission, and the knowledge that you can actually handle this now. You see, that's the beginning, and that's where the recode starts. All right, before we go today, I'm curious. Drop me a comment and tell me, what's one area of your unconscious that keeps pulling you back? So, what's a familiar pattern you can't seem to break? Or maybe an unwanted pattern that keeps showing up on repeat in your life? Because once you see it, and I mean really see it, then you have the opportunity to change the meaning of what it is, to update it, to reprogram it, to recode it. And that's when everything now and in the future changes. All right, in the next video, we're talking about how to structure your days and your actions so they reinforce this new code. Because recoding isn't just a meditation one-off thing, it's a living thing. So hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications if you're ready for that conversation. I'll see you then.